So here's a customer's machine, and this is how I do things. I'll show you. Hide his name. So I write out this work repair order sheet, whatever. And let's see, this one is get running, wants an estimate on it. So I charged him $20 to pick it up and deliver it back to him. So let's get into it. So this guy said he brought it to Lowe's, I think, which is where he bought it. And he said they kind of did a service on it or something like that. And they gave him back his old spark plug, which is right here. So that's not necessary. But I want to make sure that it runs. So the first thing I do is a compression test. And then I'll check the spark and make sure the spark is good. And that's kind of the order I do things in, because you don't really want to work on a customer's machine for too long. Otherwise labor hours goes up. And here's the spark plug. Looks good, looks clean. So I'm gonna go grab my compression tester kit now. And how I do my business, I haven't really spoken about it much. I charge the customer $50 for kind of an estimate fee, a diagnose fee to diagnose the machine. And then, you know, then once I know what's wrong with it, then I get back to them, I tell them, and I make them an estimate. And that's how I do it. So the gauge is hooked up. You can go turn it over now. I like to just try to turn it over, at least for those pull starters, 3 different times. And that's just above 60 psi, so that's good. And I've shown this spark tester, so you can see if there's a spark or not. It's just gonna light up right there. So keep an eye on that and let me know if you see anything. Yeah, I see light, so that's a good sign. And a lot of these bolts are just 10mm. So right now I know compression is good and spark is good, so really all that leaves is just fuel. And fuel can be a couple different things. Most likely the carburetor. Could be the gas tank or the fuel lines. So yeah, it's funny because, you know, the 3 main things to make an engine run are really compression, spark, and fuel. And if it doesn't have one of those, well, obviously it's not going to run. But it's also interesting to think about. I need pliers to take that off. It's interesting because spark and compression are just one thing, right? Fuel is 3 different things, as I said. Ow. I don't know, it's just funny, in my opinion. Just need to figure out how to... There we are. Remove those 4 bolts so they don't get lost. Now this can come off. Hooray! And then behind here, you have 1 wire right here. That's for the kill switch, for the key. And a primer line right on that side. I can't see it where I'm at. I'm going to roll around here. And the primer line, which is right there. So just disconnect the primer line and the electric, and this entire piece can come out. And in most cases, it's easier to disconnect the primer on the carburetor side. Well, in this case, nothing's easy. So the primer line goes right there onto the carburetor. This is the kill wire. So right there, behind it, right there, you just want to try to remove that the best you can without harming anything. Which is not always the easiest thing. There you go. There's the primer line off. And really, I'm not going to worry about this connecting the electric, because one, it's kind of safer to have it hooked up, and two, I have more than enough room like that. And then what I always like to do is take a fuel sample, just straight from the carburetor, and just see what it looks like. And make sure that fuel does flow into it as well, because the tank is full of fuel, and if there's a clog in the line, you wouldn't have a steady stream of fuel like that. So, and there you go. Now you can see what's going on with the fuel. So now, I am forgetting one thing, and I need to unscrew these two first before I can take this black piece off. I'll get around to that one day. And I just dropped a nut. That's a very common theme. And if I'm correct, then this black piece up here, that's for the choke. And then this will pop out, allowing the carburetor to come off. Okay, well that's stuck on there. And don't forget these bushings either. The bushings just go right into the holes on the front black piece. Don't forget those, because those have a tendency to fall out. Okay, that's really oily. I'm gonna go turn on my ultrasonic cleaner and let it warm up. These red plastic things, I bought them on Amazon. I'll never buy them again, because they're quite bad. And I was just thinking of a way to make them better, so I think I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna tell you how, because I'll probably make a video about it. You know, that's my favorite thing about this chair. I love just rolling around in it. It's just so funny. Yeah. Come on. There we go. Fantastic. And I still kind of have to get that breather off. That's what this is. There we are. And these tools are amazing. I think I got them at Harbor Freight. They're pliers with the top like coned like that, and then they open up, and they're good for fuel lines and anything else. And these linkages are amazing to take off. They're so simple. I love them. I love these snowblower carburetors. So here's the carburetor. Can try to take the bottom bolt off. There we go. That was really stuck on there, which is not a good sign. Although surprisingly that is clean, and surprisingly this is really clean actually. So here's the float needle. That looks clean. I'm gonna get a screwdriver to remove the main jet. I think this one should work. And I think it's coming out without a problem. This is getting a little scary. Nothing goes this easily. That really did come out easily. And this top screw is for the idle control. It allows you to idle that controls the idle speed, how low the RPMs can go on the engine. That doesn't really matter because it's a snowblower, so it's constantly running at, full throttle. And I believe this is an idle circuit. So that's everything to take off. I'm gonna go soak it in the ultrasonic cleaner, and I'm gonna go grab some food while that's doing its thing. Well, I had to run out. I got a call from a customer. Asked me to take a look at his vacuum for his leaf pickups, because it's getting time for leaf pickups. He said it almost seemed like it was clogged. So I went over. Yeah, it was all clogged with nothing but leaves and grass and stuff. So I unclogged it for him. He's an older gentleman, so he was a very nice guy. But anyways, back to the snowblower repair. Just gonna put the main jet back in. I think that's it for right now, on the inside at least. Put the bolt back on for the bowl. And then tighten it down, put the other two screws in, and fill it up with gas and see if it starts. I also drained the tank and I blew it out with air. So that's all clean and ready for fresh fuel. And really, this blower is in good condition. I mean, it's pretty much brand new. That's what the guy said. He said it's just brand new. And it still has the plastic on the front. There's really no paint scraped off. The skids on either side are still in really good condition. And I'm forgetting the gasket that goes right there. Not that this one kind of matters. This one doesn't really matter. Oh well, I'll still install it. And I need to go grab my toolbox. Make sure those bushings go in the right way. That's always important. Nope, I just dropped the screw. What did I do with my screwdriver? Okay, now I can hook up the primer, and this is the difficult part, because really you have to hook up the primer line and line everything up as you're putting the cover back on, so it's not easy. So well, and then the throttle has to be lined up as well. And that should be it. Okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put the choke cap back on, the choke knob. It's not really a cap, it's a knob. Okay. And I'm gonna leave it loose just like that, because I'm gonna fill it up with gas, very little, and then see if it runs. Then I'm gonna empty the tank, because it's still September. There's no need to have gas in a tank for, you know, when it snows. So it has oil, has fuel, very little fuel. I'm ready to test it and see what happens. There you go. Now, some of you are probably thinking, why don't I just put stable in the fuel and call it good? Okay, well, you're in the way. That's because I don't really believe in stable, at least for a long-term solution. Because really, if you use too much, then it gums up the carburetor, then you're just back at the same problem you had if you just left gasoline in it. So that's why. And don't forget to drain the carburetor as well, because that's also important. And with snowblowers, they're very similar to generators. You don't use them a lot, so fuel just sits in them and gets bad. So really, if you have fuel in it, the best thing to do is to run it every couple weeks, around about once a month. This way it keeps the engine running, and so on and so forth. The problem is, and the reason I don't trust customers, is because they probably won't do that. You know? So that's why I give snowblowers back with an empty tank. Unless there's a, you know, a blizzard right around the corner. Yeah. It's okay. And there you go. So there you go. That's that. I know the electric start was working because I was using that earlier. And I know it starts with the pull cord because that's how I started it. So combining those two, electric start should be just fine. As I said, it's a bit early to work on snowblowers, but the guy just kind of wanted me to do it as fast as possible. So, you know, that's that. And he did want an estimate, but no estimate was needed because it was just the carburetor cleaning. And pretty much what he paid me to pick it up, deliver it, and for the diagnose fee, it's pretty much already paid for. So, that's that. Anyways, on to the next project.